All right. So at that cost, is that an annual cost or is that every other year?
Every other year. So our systems last for 2 years. So essentially it's $100 per acre per year for the broadacre commodity crops, wheat, corn, soy, barley, those types of things, grains. Or it would be alfalfa, feed, that kind of stuff. Or $250 an acre per year for what we call specialty crops like strawberries, tomatoes, peppers, lettuce, the types of where they're usually smaller acreage, but they're a lot more value per acre for those crops.
And a lot more intensive farming too.
Yeah.
All right. So when you set up your financial structure, do you say to them, hey, this is going to last 2 years? Pay us this the first year, this the second year, or is everything up front?
Usually everything's up front, but sometimes if they're willing to do a fairly large order, we'll work out a deal where we call it our memorandum of understanding, where we basically say, okay, good. If you're willing to do these 5 tests, like give us a soil test, give us a leaf test, like a sap analysis or something, give us a yield differential, obviously, on that field versus others, to give us a quality measurement. And, if there's another specific thing that's important to them, just give us 5 or 6 easy to measure things that you're probably measuring anyway. Just give us the data on those. And then we'll work out a payment plan where we'll split it in half. Like you pay 50% deposit and then you run it. And then at the end of that year, once we look at all that data that you gave us, assuming we give you a good result like we're expecting, then you pay us the second half and you run it for a second year. If we don't, if we're looking at the numbers and you really measured and used everything correctly, for some reason, they just didn't see the results that first year, obviously our team is going to work with their team to figure it out and figure out what's going on. But in the meantime, we'll hold that second payment until the end of the second year so we can make sure that you're winning as a farmer.
Got you. So you actually give them a buffer, which is great. That's a great business model.
That way they got some skin in the game, they got some commitment, but also we're willing to work with them too. Like we want the whole contract, not just the 50%. So we're going to work with their team to make sure they get the good result that they should.
Fantastic. I love the approach. Very flexible. And it's good for both parties. It gives them trust in you that you're there to support them, even if they do make mistakes, which, happen, right? Shit happens. So maybe the yields due to they didn't fertilize the same way they fertilized the year before, or the weather completely changed and they fertilized and it rained right after it and washed everything out. Well, then you're not going to get the yield. So therefore, let's figure out why that happened. And obviously then you step back in and your team goes, hey, look at the data. This is what happened. That the sap crashed. So of course the plant went into shock and didn't friggin' move.
Right.
So that's a great business model.